Hey, what's going on?
Thanks for having us.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, you can come over here and share this one to me. There we go. It's probably easier, so you don't have to like lean over the other two people. All right, you versus me. Thanks a lot for coming in the studio tonight. So you guys were formed in 2004 in this, and as I read online, in this weird way where some sort of like chemical accident at a bar.
Yeah, it was a weird day. Mike and I worked at a bar together, and the dishwasher in the bar broke. And I don't know if you've ever seen the dishwasher. They have these weird chemicals in them.
Yeah.
And this part of the story, Mike and I differentiate for.
I just remember the fumes.
Because I was in it and I passed out basically, and Mike just took a. We basically just went to rest at Mike's house.
I looked over at Chris. He was pale as a ghost, so I just said, let's go back to my place and chill out. And when we got there, he picked up my guitar once he had kind of come to again and started playing. We ended up writing What I See that day, and we're like, let's try something, see if we can make something of it.
What was that? I guess. What was the? Give me the sense of like what it was like that day. Like were you having a hard time breathing? Was everything just like crazy and chaotic?
Well, I don't remember it, to tell you the honest truth. I remember being covered in the stuff, and then I remember being at Mike's place. Apparently, he looked down on me, and I was just white as a ghost.
So you just kind of woke up there?
He literally went to the management and was like, he has to go. This is bad, whatever this is. If you don't want a lawsuit and us getting sick, we need to leave now.
Right.
So that's basically what happened, and then I woke up.
And so you guys just sort of started jamming quite frequently after that moment, or?
Yeah, that was the good thing about working a bartender job. We didn't really have anything else to look forward to, so we started jamming and really got into it that way. And then through a number of different lineup changes, we're here today now. So.
And I wanted to actually get into that. You guys, you found Dave off of Craigslist. So I guess what was that? What's the Craig search like for a band?
Well, we've actually done the Craigslist search in the past, quite painfully. This time it was much easier for us because Dave responded quite quickly this time around. But we've had other posts in the past that haven't gone so well. I remember one time we had a jockey come out, and he could only jam between the hours of like 2 a.m. because he had to go race his horse and prep that during the day. So you get some really weird type people coming up. But no, Dave worked out, and we brought him out for a jam, and we got the thumbs up from our drummer that everything was clicking really well. So we invited Dave and did whatever we could to keep him here. So yeah.
What sort of things do you look for when you're bringing on a new guy into a sort of an already formed band?
I think it comes down to definitely the personalities are a big thing. Make sure they click with all of us, but also, for instance, with Dave, he's a bass player. The rhythm section really need to click. And the drummer and the bass player have to be sort of on the same page of what they play and how they play. And Dave and our drummer Justin really sort of got that and really came together. And we're doing something quite coherent that we all enjoyed, and they continue to do it, which is great.
When did Dave join the band exactly? Like 2006?
Dave, when did you join?
Oh, was it 2009? Late 2009?
Yeah, it was pretty much just a year.
2010.
Year, 2
Okay.
years ago.
So relatively recently.
Yeah, definitely.
Once you joined Dave, I mean, what did you see in these guys that you really liked about them and you versus me?
Well, that was the thing. Whenever you're searching on Craigslist for that band or those set of musicians that you're looking to jam with, it's really hit and miss. And when I came across these guys, that they were already a tight unit. They already had great songs going, and to top it all off, me and Justin, we really clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a matter of, it felt very natural, like I'd been with him for years. And that was just after a couple of practices. But it really, it's really a chemistry thing between Justin and I, and finding that groove.
And I guess, going into the first one, is there always sort of that, like, you have no idea what you're getting into, and they sort of have no idea what they're getting into. So how does that, I'm not a musician I've never done that. So I guess take the listener through, as for someone who's never done that, what that first meeting is like.
It's true. You go into it totally blind, really, unless they've sent you some tracks in advance, but you still don't know what the guys are like.
Mm-hmm.
You still don't know what you're getting yourself into as far as where you're meeting.
Safety of the meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just
Very
never,
much-
you really know. You never know.
It's very
And
much a blind date scenario, especially at the end of it where you've jammed, and then the band has to talk and discuss. Do we invite this person? Do we not invite this person?
Right.
That person has to sort of stick around and be part of this somehow. And then, do you invite them back? Do you not invite them back? How do you get through that? It really is sort of a blind date sort of mentality in a first date.
So from the first showing on, did you sort of get the feeling that Dave was worth keeping onto the team?
Well, thankfully, we have gone through so many different people and lineup changes through the years that we do trust our drummer very much, and he's a fantastic musician all around, not just drummer. And his say, as soon as he heard someone that clicked that well with him, it definitely meant a lot that he gave us the thumbs up, and we knew to go right ahead with it and try to do whatever we could to keep Dave there.
How long after joining the band, Dave, did you guys sort of sit down and start writing new material together and start performing together?
Well, they gave me a handful of songs to come to the initial rehearsal, and from that point on, after a week or two of talking about me joining up with the guys, we started working on the material right away. The material they already had in their library.
Yeah, we gave them a list of songs, a bunch of them, and none of them had bass lines, and we just said, here, put in your 2 cents in these songs and make them your own in your own respect. And he did, and the stuff he wrote was awesome. It fit well with the music, and that was sort of the second do we keep him or do we not keep him kind of test, if you will. And I mean, yeah, he kept it all together very well.
I guess, going forward, you guys released your full-length album, The Borrowed, in 2009. What's the difference between that album and your most recent album, The Book Of?
The Borrowed, we were really trying to find ourselves. It was a much different album than what we're releasing right now with The Book Of. The Borrowed was a big studio album. We had a producer. We had people sort of doing it, but it was very rushed. We went in there and did the whole thing within a week or two. And 10 days to do the entire thing, and there were parts that were missing. We weren't fully happy with it. We didn't get our full voice out on it, so it felt incomplete and fragmented to us. We had session musicians in there, so it wasn't the tight group that we have now. And now with this new album, we've really been able to get our true sound out. It's a little darker, it's a little more aggressive, and it's nice that we've all been able to take the time with it and put those little nuances into it that we can all be proud of.
How important, and I think you guys have already touched on it a little bit, but I mean, how important is it to just be, to have a tight-knit group in a band and to be all on the same page and to all really believe in what you're doing?
Well, it's definitely the most important thing. If you fall down at any time on stage or while jamming or anything like that, you need to be able to trust the however many guys are behind you, in our case 3 guys, that will pick it up so that you don't look like an idiot and you're all trying to help each other out. It's one of the few things in society where we're working together to do something. We're not trying to get anywhere before the other 3 guys. We're all in this together, and we're all there to help each other no matter what.
What has been the biggest challenge for you guys then as a band?
I would say personally it's just been finding that final lineup that we've got now, getting all the right guys in place, and just having the time to explore the sound that Chris and I have, and finding like-minded individuals to get that sound that we've always wanted. And we're now heading in that direction with The Book Of. That's kind of more of an indication of where we're going.
Describe for listeners who have never heard of you before what your sound is, because you sort of describe yourselves as rock, hard rock, folk. But what is your sound like from your own perspective?
I mean, we're a rock band, definitely. We like to plug in and we like to play loud. But we like to have fun on stage. We like to sort of mix it up a bit. But we like to keep the tempo going and everything like that. Our influences are very different, and you can hear that. So we've got a metal, classic rock, indie influences, folk influences all through that. And we like to go between them and switch it up even every song. Try to mix it up and try to keep people on their toes while they're listening, so that even though you're out at a bar and you may not have ever heard us, but when you're listening to our song, you sort of stop and say, oh, and you take note of the different parts and the tightness and everything like that.
When creating your latest EP, The Book Of, I mean, what were some of the bigger influences musically for this album?
Well, for each one of us, we'll probably all have a different answer. The one that we'll probably all say would be Muse. It's been a big big inspiration of recent time.
Right.
But I know that that our drummer he's not here, he's sick today, but Justin is a huge fan of drumming Avenged Sevenfold and Blink-182, Travis Barker's work and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Mike has more of a classic rock and Metallica sort of upbringing, and what else? Queen.
I grew up on a lot of metal, and I was kind of I really actually enjoyed it, but my mom made us listen to a lot of ABBA and the Irish Rovers and kind of weird melodic stuff growing up, but then that very quickly I went into metal, so I kind of really liked the mix of melodic metal and that kind of stuff.
Pretty interesting mix, actually.
And it is interesting because the drummer and Mike, who's lead guitar, will sort of craft a song, and then there's me who's more indie and folk, and so the melody will kind of take a 180 and do a completely different thing than what we what they started to envision. So it's kind of neat the way it all comes together in the end.
Dave, what about you? What influence-wise? I mean, what are some of the bands that have influenced you musically?
Well, huge swings, but I was raised in Texas, so I come from a background that really exposed me at an early age of country music and that entire world, and then trying to find my own likes through the music, which would be rock and then getting heavier into the Metallica, the Slayer, the Anthrax, really metal, and but then also enjoying each song for what it's worth. You can't just put a label on one song and say, that whether I like it or not. I try to keep my mind open.
You mentioned that you're from Texas. It was something that I didn't touch on in the questions that I sent you, but it is something I wanted to ask. What brought you to Canada in the first place?
Work.
Right on. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Pretty fair answer. How long ago did you come here?
About 10 years ago.
What is I guess you mentioned, as you said, you grew up a lot of country. From that perspective, is country music here a little different from country music down there?
It is, but at the end of the day, it's still country music. I mean, you have the same three parts.
Right. Yeah.
The whiskey, the woman, the house. But at the end of the day, it's very similar.
Since being here, I don't know if you've had a chance to go back to Texas or how often you go back. But what is the indie scene like here compared to maybe a place like Texas?
Two different worlds. There's live entertainment all over Dallas-Fort Worth area because temperatures. Everywhere you go to, there's a patio with another band.
Right.
And here, everybody kind of locks down, for 6 months of the year, and everything goes inside, just due to weather. And I think that's one of the biggest extremes that I see going between the two towns.
Right on. I guess going forward, what's you just mentioned that off there that your most recent single is Joust. What's the next step for you guys then as a band?
Definitely, it's getting the EP out there and into people's hands, and definitely starting to figure out our next tour. Trying to get into the States, get Dave home once in a while, and bring the music out there to his relatives as well. But that's basically the main thing. Really push forward with this new material that we're so proud of, and really try to get it out to as many people, whoever will listen to us. Now,
you're quite popular on social media. You got 25,000 or plus likes on Facebook and quite a following on Twitter. How important has social media been for you guys?
It's been a big part for us recently. We had a sort of a setback where our drummer actually broke his hand, which we made the best of it and just hit to the social media platforms as best we could in the quote-unquote downtime that we had. And actually Dave just took it over like you would not believe and really managed to build up a reputation for us and create a platform that you can see online.
But the indie scene on social media platforms is just, there's no other word for it but awesome. The people out there supporting the indie artists, really getting the word out to other fans that are pushing like-minded music or genre of music that want to spread the word, and that has helped us endlessly as far as having that kind of support.
You've gotten a lot of airtime on indie radio stations, similar to Radio Nation, online as well. How important is online radio stations for you guys as a band?
I think any radio station, any radio play is helpful and encouraging to any band. Just getting those rotations and those plays to be able to, tell people and tell your fans where they can listen to you, where they can request you, and that comes back to you. The radio station sees that, they see, and they'll start playing you more, even without those requests, and they'll pass it on to the other affiliate radio stations and so on and so forth. You hope for that sort of snowball effect.
The internet radio thing's been really interesting too, because it's still a relatively new medium, but even for radio, which in of itself is a medium. But it's been really great because it's like getting in at the ground level of something, because all these stations they're very grassroots, and that in a great way. They really connect with their fans, and they have a lot of time to dedicate to their artists, and that speaks volumes to the bands that are just trying to get a review or to get a sound quote or something about their band. And these indie stations really take the time to delve into the band and get to know them in a way that we love. So we have all the admiration and love for internet radio.
Speaking of social media, you mentioned, and I wanted to touch on it a little bit there, you mentioned that your drummer broke his hand, and how hard is it for you guys to then adjust and take over that role of using the social media, because it is such a new platform?
It's been great, honestly. The social media, being able to get a fans, they'll send us emails telling us what a song has meant to them or a particular lyric, and there's nothing that really makes what we're doing more worthwhile to us than that. It certainly can't be the financial payoff to date, and the fan love and appreciation is really what it is all about for us. So the social media, whether or not the drummer's got a broken hand or any malady that we have, it's always an important part for us, and we love to email our fans as much as I hope they love to email us.
Now, your drummer was in a Coca-Cola ad, correct?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I know he's not here, and it was something I really wanted to ask, but I guess maybe I can ask you guys to answer maybe for him. How did that happen? Do you know?
Well, he is actually a sponsored skateboarder, so he does a lot of work doing skating in and around the city, and he tours and does videos and everything that. And he got this Coke ad, and it's doing pretty well online, and he's liking it. Did well for him, but unfortunately he did break his hand skateboarding, which is one of the dangers of it, being a drummer and a skateboarder. But he's all rehabbed up now, and he's right back at it with no fear.
Does it make it hard then, because he does have a skateboarding career as well as a musical career? Does it make it hard to sort of balance both for him, and for you guys, does it make it hard on you to sort of adjust for his schedule?
It hasn't been an issue yet. We've always managed to balance it out and everything like that. Thankfully, the music business and the skateboard business are pretty much
different times a day.
Different times
exactly.
a day, and they're not the ones where you grow up and say, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this right off the bat. They're ones you got to work at.
Yeah.
So there's always time to do both, and we haven't had any issues with it. Just that fear that when your drummer goes out skateboarding every day, we have a show that night, and you're just kind of a little worried, but we haven't had really much problems.
Taking some questions here off Twitter, and this one comes from Marina in Toronto, and she asked, what age did you guys start playing music? And you guys probably should answer this individually.
Chris, I started playing drums at the age of 12, and then moved on to the guitar when I was 16 because I realized girls like it more.
I don't know about that. Drummers seem to do... anyway. Yeah, I also played the drums at 12. This is Michael here. Started on drums at 12, moved to guitar at 13 or 14. I was doing piano before that, and I went to a school where they forced us to play the recorder, that flute thing, and I've been doing that since I was around 2 or 3.
We should bust that out. You got recorder skills. That'd be awesome.
And you still play it? You still play the recorder?
No.
But every day. He's being modest. Every jam he pulls out the recorder. He's like 3 blind mice.
I'm big on green sleeves.
Yeah.
And Dave, how about yourself?
Well, I started off playing trumpet at about grade 5, grade 6, and then led into marching band. I picked up the guitar around 11 or 12, shortly thereafter, and went on to pick up bass. I'd say probably 5 years after really firming up my knowledge of the guitar.
Let's talk quickly about your songs here. Talk about Joust. How did that song come about?
Joust is an interesting song. It was written kind of differently than the other ones. It started off as a very acoustic song, and it was based on an article in the news. So it's actually quite a very dark song. But when we switched it over to electric and started plugging in with it, it became very upbeat. So there's an interesting juxtaposition with Joust, where if you listen to the lyrics, it is quite a somber, morose type song that deals with a heavy issue. And then the song kind of makes you move, so you almost feel bad doing it, but at the same time, you don't.
Speaking of Joust, we're actually going to play that song right now.
We're back. You're listening to Radio Nation. My name is Andrew. That's Nick.
Hello.
And that's you versus me. You three. Chris.
Hey.
Mike. No.
Hey.
Mike?
Yeah.
And
There we go. Dave.
Dave.
Before we start, let's read some weird news, because it's always there's never a bad time to read weird news. So this story comes from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and it's Harrisburg police arrest a woman who allegedly tried to rip a medical device out of her boyfriend's chest. Harrisburg arrested an 18-year-old woman who allegedly tried to pull the medical device out of her boyfriend's chest after she accused him of cheating on her. Police said Erica Broaders of 100 Block Evergreen Street, they charged her with attempted homicide, aggravated assault, recklessly endangering another person, and making terrorist threats. According to police, her 28-year-old boyfriend said he was going to the store on Sunday afternoon, prompting Broaders to accuse him of going there to meet girls. She allegedly followed him to the store near Derry and Mulberry Streets, where she attacked him and threatened to kill him, police said. Police said Broaders grabbed the catheter and that had been placed in her boyfriend's chest for medical reasons and tried to pull it out. Police said the catheter was partially torn out of her boyfriend, who lives in Alliston Hill, where he was treated in hospital. Excuse me. Pretty messed up story. Eventually, Broaders later contacted police and surrendered and was taken to Dauphin County Prison. Pretty messed up story. And if you look at this picture of her, and you can't see it if you're listening there, but she does look. She looks like she's had a long day, to put it politely.
Her boyfriend better get a free pass. Like, I hope he gets a free pass. Like, okay, I pulled your catheter out. You can sleep with one of my friends. Like, I'm sorry. I was wrong. You're welcome to do it. Have at her. It was pretty bad. Like.
Yeah, that's a little obsessive. It's a little much. Imagine how much that must have hurt. Like, just trying to, and in a store too, you know what I mean? Not just like in an alley or in the street, just like
in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, no. Just like someone's doing their grocery shopping and seeing a guy getting his catheter ripped out of his chest. Just
You're showing up, you just want milk and like you gotta stop for milk and bread and you watch some guy having a catheter pulled out of his chest.
Just another day in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh goodness.
All right, so let's get right to it. Let's get to the speed round now. Andrew,
Who's our sponsor this week?
You versus me.
They can't be the sponsor, they're the contestants.
I don't know, just make one up. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For providing awesome news quality today.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
The Patriot News.
We can do that.
www.penlive.com.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the speed round. The speed round is where we throw a bunch of random questions at our guests. They're going to compete against each other to see who can get the most questions right in the shortest amount of time. Tonight's sponsor is the city and people of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Because you guys
if you feel like having your catheter pulled out of your chest, visit Harrisburg.
They also have a terrific Toys R Us, and I know that because the bus stops out front of that Toys R Us. It's just a giant parking lot, and you just literally are dropped off. They just stop it. Here's Toys R Us, guys.
That's the Toys R Us / bus depot.
Yeah.
And it's safe, too. That guy should have went there. They have a catheter removal free zone.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the Toys R Us, which is great.
And believe it or not, as the state capital, the most exciting thing to see is the Toys R Us. Actually, I don't know if that's true because I've never seen the rest of Harrisburg, but all I know is the mega bus stop just stops you right in front of Toys R Us. Like, that's it. Let's go to Harrisburg for Toys R Us.
Is there a different version of Operation in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where that's one of the things?
Yeah,
Amateur
that's
operation.
yeah. Absolutely.
You
Speaking,
got Charlie horse, butterflies in your stomach, and pulling out a catheter.
yeah, it's right up there, right?
Oh goodness.
Speaking of board games, what is your favorite board game?
Oh, that's a big question.
It is a big question. You got to be quick.
Mousetrap.
Life.
That's a good one. Life. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Oh, can I say the same answer as him?
Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
Go
okay.
for it.
Well, pizza.
Pizza.
You got to get closer to the mic, though, all of you. There
Pizza.
You go. There you go. Pizza.
Let me restate: the person with the fastest answer gets the point. That's why it's called the
that's how-
speed round.
Oh, one at a time.
Speed round.
Speed being the optimal word there.
So these questions were provided to us by Brendan Armstrong of the band Last Bullet. So thanks to him.
Thanks.
What is the stupidest product on the market right now?
Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Oh.
That's not gonna. I don't know if that's a product, but
Come on now.
He's a product.
the product of marketing. Yes.
Product of marketing, yes.
How soon will the world end?
The month.
Month, yeah.
Yeah. Soon. Pretty good.
I'm not sure who gets a point on that one.
I don't know. They all said it at the same time.
Conspiracy theorists can have it. Mike's got it.
There you
They're
go.
not theories. They're hypotheses.
What was your first girlfriend's name?
Jen.
Tracy.
Jen.
That was you! Bastard!
What is your best quality?
Sense of humor. You got nothing.
Are we all
nothing.
answering? I thought it was
Sure,
me.
go for it.
Yell.
Well, yeah, but if you yell it first, then I got nothing, right?
Well, you got nothing anyway. It's your worst quality.
What is your worst quality?
I got nothing.
So you don't have any quality, except you can perform in a
His worst
band.
quality is his quality list.
That's the
Also,
weirdest
best
answer I've
quality.
ever heard on this show. But also the most interesting.
What is your favorite song on the radio right now?
Justin Bieber. I wish I could name a Justin Bieber song. Damn.
Baby is one of them. Just throwing it
Point
out
for
there.
Nick.
Point.
I'm surprised you guys didn't say your own music.
Well, that would have been too
A
obvious.
little
Oh, yeah.
arrogant.
No, there's nothing wrong
No.
with that.
All right. All right.
Don't be arrogant on this show. Just
My
don't
humility
offend
is my
anybody.
worst quality, really. Modesty.
What is the worst show on TV?
Men.
4 Weddings, Canada.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh, it's Janny James Bond.
Have you seen the newest one?
No.
Oh, it was
No,
really
it
good.
sucked.
You should go see it.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. What was the score in the Grey Cup game?
39-22 for the Argos.
Close enough.
Damn.
Everyone booed for Bieber.
Yes. 35, I think it was.
I thought it was 33, but I didn't.
It's either
watch.
34 or 35.
Something like that.
Who won the Grey Cup? No.
Toronto.
Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Yeah. Sold out the whole stadium.
What is your dream car?
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini what?
Aventador.
Cool.
Or Countach.
Ooh,
That works. Rate this interview out of 10.
10.
10.
fair answer.
That's the correct answer.
There's only one
All-star.
answer.
What is your favorite Disney movie?
Aladdin.
Also correct.
You win.
Okay, so you've murdered a whole bunch of people, and you're on death row, and you're about to be executed.
They're on
But
death.
first, you get your last meal. What is it?
I think pizza has to be in there.
Well, yeah. If it's a favorite food, probably pizza, right?
Some people have said
Steak.
other foods.
You want a steak?
I want a steak.
I like leftover
nice
spaghetti.
big
I don't
steak.
know why, but leftover spaghetti is good for me.
It's leftover after from the other inmate who
You make
requested
it,
it.
and then you eat it, right? From the other inmate.
Yeah. Who went
Whatever
before you.
Whatever he doesn't eat, I'll eat. I'm good.
Whatever takes the longest to cook, I'm good with.
That's a good one.
Proper soup.
Yeah.
Nick, it's your turn, because I'm out of questions.
All right. Favorite place you've traveled to?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Barbados.
Favorite or place that you have always wanted to travel to?
Japan.
Fiji.
Australia.
Why are yours 2 questions?
Where's one place you would like to gig if you could play anywhere in the world?
Madison Square Garden sold out. Is that an option? Like
In
sucks
30
the
seconds?
Wembley.
Just like Bieber?
Massey
Yeah.
Hall. Growing up here, Massey Hall.
Yeah, that's a good
crowd?
answer.
Yeah, Massey
Awesome.
Hall. It's
That'd be
actually-
pretty sweet.
Great.
Go with that answer.
Fair enough. Madison Square Garden's a good one too.
Roy
Especially-
Thompson Hall would be pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Full symphony behind
Acoustics.
you.
What is your favorite thing about being from the GTA? Is there a favorite thing about being from the GTA?
I guess proximity to downtown Toronto without having to live in downtown Toronto,
Yeah.
because it can get pretty chaotic.
Well, yeah, you guys can just shoot right down Yonge Street, right?
Yeah,
and then
exactly,
you're there.
without a problem.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. You have the option too. You can take the GO train, or you can get close enough to. You can take the TTC too,
They
right?
want
So,
to extend the subway up that way anyway.
yeah, exactly.
I'd say
They
better
want to. I don't know
synchronized
when it's gonna get
lighting.
done.
Better
remember-
synchronized traffic lights in the GTA than in the city.
Oh yeah.
Like the core is a disaster.
I
Yeah.
remember I used to live in Richmond Hill, and it was like the Viva was amazing.
Yeah,
like
it's
it,
incredible.
I grew up in Scarborough, and then I moved to Richmond Hill. I'm like, what is this bus service? It's
amazing, yeah.
Oh my god! I
Yeah.
don't even have to pay half the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Then there's me who grew up in Oakville. It's like, what bus service? I mean, there's a bus service.
I live out in Ajax now, so I hear you.
Yeah. Train pulls up, bus leaves. Oh, I guess I'll be waiting for another hour.
I hear a myth that's called Durham Region Transit, but I've never actually witnessed it, and I've lived in Richmond Hill or in Ajax for 2 years now.
Mentioned gigs that you want to play at and perform. Where if you guys said you're bringing up you want to tour? What are some of the cities that you'd really like to tour at?
Europe is big for us. We'd like to get out over there. I think our music would be quite successful over in Europe, but I know Dave would really love America and get down to Texas and do the tour.
Definitely get to all. There's so many places across the states that you can hit, and I think we'd have a really good following there.
They're all in close. A lot of them are in close proximity to each other too. So
not like here.
Yeah.
Ontario's killer to get across.
Well, I could. Well, Southern Ontario, at least you're fortunate, but
that, yeah.
There's true.
Get any of the other provinces.
Once you get to like Sudbury, okay, now where?
We've almost died a number of times on tour.
I actually wanted to ask a bit about that. Where have you guys toured before? I've had a chance to look, but I mean, just tell the audience. I mean, where have you guys toured, and where's been some really fun places, and where have been some maybe not so fun places?
We frequent Southern Ontario and go all around here, but we've gone out to the East Coast a bunch of times, which has been a lot of fun to go out to the East Coast. I think PEI was probably our most fun gig. They're a lot of fun out there. They were really good to us, and it was a great show out there. Great people. Our worst thing was probably driving up through Quebec during a snowstorm. We thought we were dead for sure. Bald tires and a van not going anywhere, and 16-wheeler trucks honking and pushing us off the road and white-knuckling it because
we
couldn't
had a pretty
see.
bad snowstorm.
Oh.
We had basically like a flash storm come through, and Chris had just picked up the driving shift, thankfully, and
it was 3 a.m.
and it was at 3 a.m. He was doing the red eye shift, and none of us slept. It was literally white knuckle because we couldn't see 10 feet in front of us. Semi trucks are going past us, blasting their horn because we're going too slow. We're just trying to stay from falling into the ditch because our trailer's kind of dead weight behind us, courtesy of our bald tires, and the transmission on a van, which wasn't as strong as it needed to be. And what made things worse was one of the spark plugs kept going out, so we didn't have any signals. We
kept blowing fuses
for the trailer. So the trucks behind us didn't know if we were braking or turning or what we were doing. Like, they couldn't see our hazard lights because they didn't have any hazard lights.
We've also played shows where we've played one show where the owner killed himself that day.
Oh my God.
The next door place picked it up and we started playing, and it was a falafel house that just let us play in the back. And the acoustics were oddly incredible. It was so bizarre. It was a weird sequence of events.
Where was this?
This was actually in Toronto.
Yeah,
that is the weirdest thing.
It is so bizarre.
It was actually a show we did for Music Counts, which is an organization that they raise money to promote music in schools and keeping music programs alive and funded in schools. So it was actually one of those things that, like, we're working for an organization. A lot of times if the venue falls through like that, you kind of throw your arms up and the booker doesn't know what to do, but they ended up pulling it together and getting us into a venue, making the show happen, and it ended up probably being better than it would have been if it had where it would have originally taken place. And that was sort of a testament to the organization itself and keeping music alive. It was like, wow, this organization is true to what they're actually doing. It was great.
Final question for you guys tonight, because we're getting tight on time here, is how do people get a hold of you on the internet and social media?
Just about everywhere that there can be a band's present online, we are there. We're on Twitter at UVSme. We're at facebook.com/UVSme. You can find our main website where you can download our EP for free if you want at www.uvsmeband.com, or .ca rather. It's uvsmeband.ca. And those are the main ones. You can find all our other sites through any of those three links.
Great. And one last question. This comes from my dad. Why do you guys think Justin Bieber was booed? The Great Cup. This is from my father.
He was definitely booed because the age difference and what people were expecting and hoping for at a celebration like that. I mean, people know how old the fan base is at the CFL games, so why would you put someone who is obviously not playing towards that demographic?
Yeah, it just seemed like a very transparent attempt to reach a demographic that doesn't quite...
Can't even drink beer yet.
Oh, yeah, they don't even care about football, quite frankly, and... it was just the wrong choice for the wrong venue. It's nothing against him or what he's doing. Everybody's got their thing, but he just, it was the right person at the wrong time. Wrong
Yeah.
person at the wrong time.
Did we learn nothing from Justin Timberlake at SARS Fest?
Yeah.
SARS Stock? He got booed there, right? They
Mhm.
brought Justin Timberlake out, and they didn't know why. We got to learn.
Yeah, that's pretty questionable choice too. But with that, I want to say thanks you guys for coming in tonight. We're getting tight on time here, but thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks
It's
for
been a lot
having
of
us.
fun. Had some good laughs, and thanks a lot, and hope safe trip.